Hi there and welcome to the Cocktail Mode Christmas Special. This is usually a podcast where me, Andy and my mate Dave pick an old game and then pick a cocktail to go along with it. But as this is our Christmas episode and the final episode of Season 1 of Cocktail Mode, we're just going to free float and talk about Christmas a lot. So I hope you enjoy that. Just before we came to air, you were just saying that you think receiving a game is a shit present, akin to getting a DVD or a Blu-ray or something like that.
Yeah, I do now. I may not have thought that my entire life, especially if that game came with a new console.
Yes, that would certainly sweeten the pill a little bit.
Which, as a, let's say, 12, 13-year-old child, is the best present you can get.
Yeah.
The new Sega Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, PlayStation.
Do you know what the first one you ever got was? The first game-related present that you ever got for Christmas?
Yes, I do, actually.
Oh, before you answer that, Dave, you should probably admit, I don't know if you're like me. Dave's birthday is quite close to Christmas, as is mine. So
yes,
I don't know how many of these presents are actually Christmas presents, or they may have been birthday presents. I can't tell you.
I'll list them individually.
Or
trust me.
We have the age old of anybody who has their birthday at this time of year will know. Oh, it's a joint present.
I have this any time I find someone, like a new friend or somebody I'm just chatting to, and I find their birthdays in any part of December. My first question is, how many birthday presents have you been dicked out of your entire life? What's your present debt?
I don't think it's doxing ourselves. So my birthday's 5 days before Christmas. Yours is what?
4 days after.
4 days after, yeah. So
which is worse.
That's the shit point. No, I don't know. I reckon because Gemma, my wife's birthday, her birthday is the 7th of January, and that's grim as fuck. Nobody wants to do anything. Nobody's got any money left to buy.
Yeah, no, I know. That's exactly my issue. It's in between Christmas and New Year. No one leaves the fucking house. Certainly not to celebrate some twat's birthday. I stopped trying to sort out going out on my birthday.
Yeah.
Years ago. I don't do anything anymore.
I don't have that problem. My problem was always that everyone was just out anyway, so it was really hard getting the drinks I was owed because it was my birthday. Because everybody thought it was a Christmas thing. This all sounds like really great, ungrateful and shitty.
Well, it is. Years of being told, well, we'll get you just one present rather than the two that everybody else gets. Just because you're fucking special.
Rub it in. I don't know about your sister. My brother's birthday is smack in the middle of the fucking year as well.
Yeah, my sister's is in August. Right in the middle of the summer holiday. The perfect time for your birthday.
My brother's is end of May, right at the end of May. So yeah, when you're a kid, it's just horrible.
Yep.
Obviously, as a grown-up, you just harbour that bitterness from when you were a child.
Pass it on.
Anyway, we were saying your first ever game-related Christmas present.
Yes, my first ever game-related Christmas present was an old tabletop sort of home computer game thing. It's called Scramble, and if you can Google it and still find it. I got that, and my sister got a game called Astro Wars for the same Christmas, and you can still find these out there somewhere.
These are LCD games, I assume, where...
Yes, yeah, there's like a sort of, I don't know, let's say about probably a 6-inch screen.
Yeah.
With about 14 pixels stretched across that 6 inches. Very fixed sprites that light up. Well, not even sprites, are they? They're just lights that light up. I mean, I'm selling it short. It was amazing when I got it.
They're basically talking about the Game & Watch style thing, right? So,
yes, but a big like tabletop version. So it was actually like a thing that you plugged in.
Yes.
And I loved that. I had that for years.
Yeah.
I absolutely adored that thing. And I've got a couple of very fond memories of it. One of which is when we got our dog for the first time when I was about 7, I think. I sat there playing it one day on the dining room table and it just went off. I thought, maybe the lead's fallen out the back because it was one of those adaptable power plugs that you had like multiple ends on that would go into anything, and selectable voltages, which you only have used the one.
The 9-volt one.
Yeah, but it had like a joint in it halfway along as well, so it wasn't unusual that could come loose. No, fucking dog was under the table eating the cable. Okay. Need a new power lead, Dad.
Luckily not a new dog.
No, it's fine.
I think the first ever games related thing I ever saw was one of those large sort of table based. It was a Pac-Man and it was round.
Okay.
And that was, I think it was either a Pac-Man or a Munchman, which was the unbranded rip-off. See, I think that might have been the first sort of the thing that started me on my journey. It was either that or arcades when I was on holiday. I don't know which came first. I really don't. I sort of my youthful memories are very muddled up. I don't really remember anything till I was about 6, and then everything after that's a bit of a mess. But yeah, it was either like actual arcade machines or this desktop Pac-Man / Munchman thing.
Yeah.
Because I had a mini Munchman, which was like the size of, probably a mobile phone these days, maybe a little bit wider and a little bit shorter, but generally speaking, not that much different.
About the size of a SNES pad.
Yeah. And then, but there was lots of, Frogger had a one of these, didn't it? It was these LCD things that were, I wish there was, what is the name for them? What are they actually called?
They're handheld LCD game machines.
Yeah, but the ones you're talking about aren't handheld. And that's what I can't think of a name for.
I don't know. I can't. There's no. You can't call it a console because it isn't.
No,
it's a single game. But there were loads of them. Those LCD games, just tons of them with varying degrees of quality.
I just had a quick Google, and you can buy for £65 on eBay a Frogger, and they're calling it a tabletop arcade game.
Yeah, there we go. Tabletop. Yeah,
tabletop arcade game. So yeah, Frogger was. Another one that I saw fairly early. That's 81 that was about. So that would make sense because I said I started remembering stuff when I was about 6. So that ties up. So yeah, those were not, I wouldn't say uncommon, but they were pretty popular, weren't they?
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. So everybody had something.
Yeah.
If you were rich, you had the proper Donkey Kong handheld, which had 2 screens, if I remember right.
Oh, the flip open one.
Yeah, sort of looked like an early DS.
Yeah.
But still the LCD screens, single sort of positions of characters and that. But yeah, you had really cheap ones that were dog shit. But it was all you had.
Yeah.
I can remember, actually, my next-door neighbours when I was very young, up to the age of 7, and our next-door neighbours wanted for nothing. They had their own, games room extension to the house, which had a permanent Scalextric track on it.
Wow.
And they had a Spectrum. And I can remember coveting that Spectrum.
Well, I think perhaps, with a lovely segue, the Spectrum might have been my first ever game-related Christmas / birthday present.
Oh, okay.
But it was one of the later ones, the Plus 2A.
I'm really fuzzy on the versions of the Spectrum because there's a lot of them, isn't there? There's the ZX80, ZX81, Sinclair C1, was it? Or was that the car?
That was
C5.
The C5 was the car, yeah.
The 16K, 48K, and 128K.
Yeah.
Too many versions.
There was lots, yeah. So the Plus 2A came out in 1987, and considering the Spectrum as we know it, came out in 1982. So it was pretty old by then.
I thought it was 80. I thought that was why it was the ZX80.
I think that was 80, yeah. And then there was the 81, but the Spectrum sort of as an actual capable games machine didn't really happen. The 48K Spectrum was the first one, the rubber keyboard one that everybody remembers, one of the most beautiful gaming machines ever created. That was the 48, and then there was the Plus, which was the same machine but with a plastic keyboard, and then there was the 128, and then there was the Plus 2, and then there was the Plus 2A, and there was the Plus 2B, then there was the Plus 3.
If I remember right, they all had separate tape decks as well. Was there a combined one?
Everything from the Plus 2. So the Plus, anything so the Plus 2 meant with a tape deck attached.
Right, okay.
So it looked almost exactly like that Amstrad that had the tape deck attached, like probably exactly the same mold in exactly the same factory. And then the Plus 3 had the disk drive, the floppy drive. But I can imagine the Plus 3 would have come out probably somewhere near 1990.
When you say floppy disk, are we talking like what we think of as a modern the last floppy disk, or are we talking the big fucking 5-inch?
I think I can't really remember. I never had one, but I think it was the War Games style big 5-inch floppies. Fucking Brilliant. Love that film.
It is a great film. I think War Games is possibly maybe War Games, maybe Tron are like the films that made me want to have a computer.
Oh really? I think mine was 100% War Games. I don't think I'd seen the Plus 3 was 1987 as well. So so what did it read? The disk drive uses 3-inch discs, not the industry standard 3.5-inch disc. They loaded very quickly, apparently.
So its own format.
Yeah.
By the sound of it.
Proprietary, is that the word? Mm-hmm. But yes, the lovely Spectrum. So I think as much as I'd had stuff before, I think I'd had a different Spectrum before. My brother had a Commodore 128 before this as well, and other machines. This was the first one I think I got for Christmas. I think the other stuff just sort of happened, through dodgy playground deals and stuff like that.
I'll swap you my Amstrad for a Diego Maradona football sticker.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I really like those trainers. Would you like a Spectrum? You walk home in your socks, but you had a fucking Spectrum.
I got a Spectrum. Ow.
So yeah, 87 odd, I think that was my first computer. So quite late considering, I think I've been into it and wanting stuff and had stuff before that. But I love the Spectrum. I think what happened was we had a Spectrum. My brother got a Spectrum, a 48K plastic keyboard job. And then he sold it because it was his, and I was livid because he never played it and I played it constantly. Absolutely fucking constantly. But he sold it from under me. And a little while later he got a Commodore 128.
How dare he sell his own thing?
I know. And then he did exactly the same thing with the Commodore 128 as well. He never used it. I played it constantly. He sold it. And so I think it was probably fairly soon after that I got this Spectrum. Because I think even though I probably knew by then it was, cracking on a bit in age and there were better machines out there, I loved it. I loved it more than the Spectrum even then, before I had, there was no cynicism. There was no, I don't know what the word is really. There was no allegiance. There was no brand loyalty. As a kid, I liked the Spectrum more than I liked the Commodore 128, and the Commodore 128 we had was a disk drive machine, so everything loaded in seconds, but I just preferred the Spectrum, so I must have wanted another one, and I got the Plus 2A that came with the light gun and the 6-pack of light gun games.
Oh, awesome.
5 of which were shit.
I was going to say 6 of which were probably shit.
No, 5 were shit, and the 6th one was Operation Wolf.
Oh, awesome.
Which was never shit on anything, and especially with a light gun. It was exactly what that game needed. It was excellent. Yeah. I played a lot of that, that's for sure.
Quality game. Loved it.
It had the Spectrum light gun had a design inspired by the Master System light gun. And when I say inspired by, I mean traced over with. Absolutely identical. But yeah, I think I probably, in terms of presents, I went almost directly from wanting Lego to wanting computer stuff. And there's probably some crossover. And weirdly enough, now that I'm nearly 50, the crossover has come back. Lego and computer stuff again.
Our generation sort of peaked in its sort of 20s and then is going downhill back to its sort of youth.
That's because our youth was excellent. We were left to do what we wanted for hours on end.
Days.
Oh, also, just want to say, if you don't celebrate Christmas, or if you're not religious, if you have another religion and you celebrate something else, awesome. We don't care. Dave and I celebrate Christmas in the true capitalist fashion of it being about presents and eating and drinking. Christmas in name only.
Yeah, there's no religious aspect whatsoever to Christmas, nor has there been for my entire life.
I don't think it'd be too broad a stroke to say in the UK particularly among basically white people, religion just isn't very popular anymore. We don't really do it.
Oh no,
quite a faithless society.
I think it probably harks back to Henry VIII deciding that he didn't want to follow his particular religion anymore because they wouldn't let him divorce or kill his wife. So he made a new one. It's literally, fuck you, I'm going to make my own religion with blackjack and hookers.
I mean, I'm sure every educated person knows, but yeah, Henry VIII invented the Church of England for that very reason.
Blackjack and hookers.
That's what it was all about. He was a big fan. Big fan of both. Big fan of aniseed flavoured sweets and rugby. I love aniseed flavoured stuff.
Yeah, you've mentioned this before.
Yeah, and I think it probably goes back to blackjack.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, back in the days when I got like 10p pocket money, you could buy 20 blackjacks.
Yeah, because they were trying to get rid of them. No one ever fucking buys them.
Don't talk nonsense. Blackjacks and fruit salads, king of sweets.
No, you're wrong. Rhubarb and custard.
You couldn't buy 2 rhubarb and custard for a penny, though, could you?
No, because they were good.
Because rhubarb and custard, you had to talk to somebody and ask for them. They come in a little paper bag. I couldn't eat anything that you had to talk to somebody to get. I'd never had.
Oh, your crippling social anxiety.
Yeah. Just taunt me from the back shelf of the shop. Just glaring. And they're all there pink and yellow.
I can remember when I was a little kid, there used to be a shop in the village, a sweet shop, and it was literally a shed. It was just a little shed. And you went in, it was just shelves of God knows what. But you figured out what you liked, and that was all you ever asked for. Because that's the only thing you knew the name of. All this shit on the shelf was like, rhubarb and custard, please.
My father-in-law talks about something that he used to get, given that he's, probably 15 years older than me. So, yeah, before that, he talks about sweet he used to get. They were just called brown drops.
Jesus.
Because they weren't real chocolate. So you couldn't call, then, you couldn't call them chocolate. So they were just called brown drops.
Fucking hell.
I hope that's right, because he listens, so he'll be able to tell me, but I'm sure he said they were called brown drops.
Maybe he could leave a comment on social media.
Yes, he could. He's done so before.
He has.
We were briefly talking about Christmas video games, and there was a Lemmings Christmas levels, wasn't there?
Well, there was a very famous, and I think we may have mentioned it in the Cannon Fodder episode, but there was a very famous demo cover disc version of Sensible Soccer that was the very famous World War II football match between England and Germany that was played at Christmas during the war.
Yeah.
Where they reimagined it in black and white, which was a stroke of genius, but the football is a hand grenade. So it kind of lessens the poignancy of the moment. But I always thought that was really clever. I always thought that was really good.
Oh, fantastic.
But yeah, there are others out there. There are countless Christmas-based games, 99% of which are all shit. It's like 99% of all Christmas films are shit. I don't need to watch any of them to know that. They just are.
They seem to be getting worse as well, Christmas films.
There's its own genre now, isn't it? The Hallmark Christmas movie.
Yes, I'm fortunately been subjected to far too many of those.
I'm yet to actually watch one.
Oh.
Hopefully I never will. But I can guess. They're saccharine sweet, horribly badly written.
Yeah.
Full of Z-list actors and actresses who you've never heard of and never will.
All of the above. And tend to be, and I say this as, not being, what's the word, aestheticist, but there always seem to be starring people who are not quite really attractive.
You mean Hallmark hot? I didn't even coin that term. I have heard that from someone else.
Oh, really?
It's the concept of somebody who's attractive, more attractive than the average human.
Yes.
But not attractive enough to get into real films. It's Hallmark hot.
And all of this shouldn't
Which is
be a
horrible
thing.
when you think about it.
is.
If you're an actor, if you're a young actor and you're struggling to get into the movie industry, and you think, "Oh, I've got this great offer of a leading role in a Hallmark movie," and your parents are like, "Oh, well, at least he tried."
I mean, it's not even like being any level of attractive should be able to get you into films anyway. It's just all a fucking clusterfuck of a minefield of offensiveness that we are doing a very bad job of making our way through. But basically, yes, maybe if any of these people could act, it would be,
That's the problem. If you're not conventionally attractive but a good actor, like Danny DeVito, for instance.
Yeah. And I mean, again, the thing is with these films, even if they are they could be great actors, but it's so hard to tell because the scripts are awful and they've clearly been banged out in about 2 weeks. So,
The thing is, though, there is either going to be a massive, and I mean massive, upsurge in quality of this sort of shit, or it's going to get worse because AI will write them from now on.
Oh, God. What's the best gaming gift you've ever bought someone?
I wouldn't really call it a gift, but I gave my sister a PlayStation in exchange for her car, which is a pretty good story.
But you can't drive.
I was learning at the time.
Oh, okay.
This is the car that got crashed into and written off. It wasn't my fault. I want to point that out straight away. But yeah, it never bothered again after that.
I can imagine that's not a lot of fun.
No, I can remember buying, again, my sister had bought her a Game Boy Color in about 97, I think. Something like that.
No, I don't think they came out till like 2000.
I did buy my sister's kids, and I suppose generally the family,
the
Wii fitness board one Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
And actually stayed with them for a few days over Christmas. That was brilliant. That was really good fun.
I mean, you say what you want about the Wii and all its weird paraphernalia and dodgy games. Bunch of people together, and they are a great laugh. They are very often the cause for good times and happiness.
That's the thing. That's one of the things because I kind of predicted the Wii. I remember playing something in an arcade, and it was a ridiculous horse jockey game where you're on this amalgam of a horse that you have to really vigorously pump away at the fucking thing. I came off it nearly dying. And I said to somebody at the time, bearing in mind this is probably late 90s, I said, this is the future of games. It's not what you're playing, it's how you play it.
Yeah.
The interaction between you and the game is what will change. And then, because virtual reality had kind of been and gone and died and was a long way off coming back. But things like motion tracking and stuff like that was sort of on the horizon, but not really in sight.
Yeah.
And I remember when it first came out, when the Wii and the whole infrared pointing thing came out, I thought, that's exactly what I pictured. A few years ago, that's exactly what I thought would be the next thing. You wouldn't have a controller. It's the old joke in Back to the Future 2. When he plays the old arcade game and Elijah Wood goes, "Oh, you have to use your hands."
It's like a baby's toy.
Yeah, exactly that. It is, why are we sitting, starters, in front of something with a hand-controlled thing when you could just stand and motion with your hand?
I got my brother a Wii, and as you say, it was my brother, but he's got 2 kids, and he's married, so it wasn't really just my brother. But I got it when they were really difficult to get.
Oh yeah.
And I got it off eBay with some games. And I remember specifically, the thing I remember specifically about getting this Wii is what the bid that I put in for it and how much I won it by. Because it's formed the basis of every eBay bid I've ever put on since.
Okay.
Because this was at a point when Wii's and with games and stuff like that was going for 300 odd quid, generally speaking. Mm-hmm. And I put in a bid of £234. £4.56.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Yeah. So for those not paying attention, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I won it by 16p.
Oh, probably can't do that anymore.
No, you can't. It kind of rounds up, doesn't it? To the extent that they were that rare at the time, he like almost couldn't believe that I'd got it. He thought I had it imported or something. I now, whenever I bid on something on eBay, I try to make the numbers sequential in some way. Always. I just can't break the habit. I think I mentioned before, I wanted to sort of idea of buying gamey stuff for other people because you said it was a shit gift. I think I bought...
No. I would say a game. Like, if you don't know the person and you don't know what they want,
right,
and you know that, I don't know, your cousin, your nephew owns a PlayStation, you think, I'll buy him a PlayStation game. No research, no looking into it. Don't ask what he wants. You just buy a game. That's a shit present. If you know someone's like a dyed-in-the-wool, say, Zelda fan, and you get the new Zelda game or something, that's fine. That's, presumably they'd have bought it themselves.
Before we move on from this subject, I think I mentioned it in the Resident Evil episode. I got my elder nephew, who was really into Resident Evil, the Game Boy Color game, Resident Evil Gaiden, as a present.
Okay.
That's a Game Boy Color. So I got him that as a gift. I know he's still got it. So I think that. And I got my younger nephew. I got him some other stuff as well. He had a VR headset. He was the first person I knew to have a VR headset. My younger nephew. And I got him a couple of games that he wanted. And then I bought Res Infinite. Pretty much for myself. Bought it for him, and I bought it, went down there, beat it on my first time playing it. Here's an extra present for you. You can have this now. It is easier in VR. I don't know if the difficulty level's been set down or whether it was just the interface really, really works that well, but it did seem particularly easy in VR, Res.
I have a confession to make. I've never played Res. Your silence is deafening.
Wow.
I know of Res, and I know how highly you regard it and other people regard it.
Yeah.
I've never played it. I don't think I've ever even played like a demo or like had a go.
I would put it in my top 5 games ever made, easily. I would say the level 4 boss battle, probably my favourite boss battle of all time in any game. Mm-hmm. I adore that game. I think it's absolutely magnificent.
Yeah.
So yes, wow.
But it's Christmas.
I was going to
say of forgiveness.
No, mate, it's not a time for Christmas. It's not a time for forgiveness. It's a time for me to buy you a copy of Res on Steam and make you play it.
Peace and goodwill and Res to all men.
I mean, that would be great. That's a religion I could get behind. I think My Beautiful Wife got me perhaps my favourite game related.
Is this your Tetris lamp?
No.
Because I do like that. I remember seeing that. I'm thinking that's really cool.
She's wonderful. She's bought me quite a few game related things over the years. So there's a Tetris lamp, and it's basically, there is one block that has power to it, and then as you stack the others on, it conducts around the rim to build up. And I have 2 of them now, so I get a massive pile of Tetris.
I love the idea of like some horrific feedback electric shock that you get when you put the 2 together.
She brought me an actual neon sign. There's a lot of lamps about in the world, particularly since there's a new type of LED. I think it's called COB, C-O-B. So it is just the strip. You can still cut it wherever you want, and it is just a continuous beam of light. And it's sort of given rays to a lot of things that look like neon but aren't. Mm-hmm. But so I should just make clear that Gemma, God bless her, bought me a Pac-Man neon sign designed for a shop or an arcade, and that. It's actually got a frame on it with feet, so it's designed to go on the inside of a window, and these feet keep it away from the glass. And she paid as much for it as she did to have it imported from America.
Oh wow.
So it ended up costing her quite a bit of money, but that's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And still not my favourite game related thing she's ever bought me.
Okay.
Because God love her, she bought me an Atari Jaguar.
Oh.
In a box. Complete box with the insert, all the instructions, the whole thing.
Well done.
Isn't that lovely? And the reason she went for an Atari Jaguar, bizarrely...
because you didn't have one.
A lot of people listening to this will know me by my regular online moniker of Jaguar Wong, which I've had almost as long as I've had the internet. I've been using it as an excellently bad old kung fu film called Ninja Terminator.
Ninja Terminator.
Yeah,
I've got that. That's a great film.
The hero of which is called Jaguar Wong, and I stole his name as my own.
There was the great sound clip, wasn't it? Jaguar Wong is afraid of nothing.
Yeah. I tell you what happened. A really bizarre thing happened. A little while ago, I did a series on my blog, my previous foray into the world of online entertainment.
Your previous outlet for your misinformed bullshit opinions.
There we go. That's the one. With a blog, and I did a blog playing every DSiWare game and posting about it in a blog, and somebody commented recently, like contacted me directly on Reddit, and it'd been like 4 weeks that it'd been just sitting there, and I forgot what he asked me, and it may have been about something else. I just responded in a polite, friendly way, and he said, come back and replied however he did, and he said, I love your username, by the way. I used to be in a band called Pig Unit, and we wrote a song about Jaguar Wong.
Oh, love it.
I knew it from before. I can't remember how I came about it previously, but I knew of this song.
Maybe when you Googled Jaguar Wong?
Possibly, yeah. So yes, Pig Unit, Jaguar Wong. He's the man killed Tiger Chan.
Awesome.
But yeah, just bizarre how these things sort of come back around. But anyway, Gemma knew this was my online name. And then when she was looking for presents, she saw that there was a computer called a Jaguar and assumed that that's where I got the name from. And then, as you said, checked my pile of consoles and saw that I didn't already have one and bought one for me.
That's good.
And, yeah, I know, and I love the Jaguar. I'm one of its defenders. I think it's much maligned. Unfortunately, too many of its games were basically identical to Amiga games. Not the terrible machine it is made out to be, the Jaguar, by a long shake of the tail. What about you? Best Christmas present game related?
I'm torn on this, and this takes us back to the by-year list of Christmas game related things that I've made. So 1987, the year you were getting your Spectrum,
yeah,
I got my Amstrad.
Oh wow.
We went to a computer show, like you get like the big shows at the NEC in Birmingham. Went to this computer show, which is a weird thing because it's not the sort of thing you go to much as a kid.
No, I guess not, no.
Very much with the specific idea that we were going to buy my computer. And the sort of memories are a bit sketchy on the whole thing. But parents decided that I was getting an Amstrad, and they obviously listened to the salesman's gumph about all the things it can do, and you need the color monitor, not the green screen, because that's better. You must buy a printer because he'll need that for his homework.
Oh yes.
Literally used it fucking twice in 10 years. But yeah, that was the big birthday and Christmas present of that year. Possibly the next year as well. I may have got nothing the year after to compensate.
But to be fair, it's those times when you don't mind the big
yes,
it's it's clearly a big present. Then you're like, okay, that's fine. When it's a fucking hairbrush, that's when you have. That's when it doesn't sit so well.
Oh, you were hated as a child. So yeah, that was life changing. That was literally life changing. Having my own computer was just liberating in that I could sit and do whatever I wanted. I could pick from and I've got with it a big pack of games. I think in my mind it was 17 games.
Wow!
I cannot find this pack of games anywhere on the internet.
Really?
It doesn't exist. But I definitely had it. It may have been a pack that they sort of put together.
Yeah.
Not an official sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I can remember fondly a lot of the names of the games. So there's Hunchback 1 and 2. There was Roland in Time, Daley Thompson's Decathlon.
When you say Roland in Time, do you mean Monty in Time?
No, Roland in Time is an Amstrad mascot character. There were about 4 or 5 games. There's Roland on the Ropes, Roland in Time, Roland... I don't know, does Dallas? I can't remember.
So basically, budget Monty Mole.
Yeah, exactly that. It's a game called Nomad, which was very, very odd in that you left and right would rotate the character.
Yeah, I know that game.
And then like a thrust thing to move forward, and it was a shoot. It's very strange. I'd love to go back and play that now.
It kind of rotated at a weird, slightly isometric angle, didn't it? When it rotated,
yes,
it was quite odd to look at. Yeah,
but you're sort of floating through these levels as well.
Yeah, I don't even remember. I can't remember what episode it was. But I think it may have been basically the Julian Gollop episode, whatever game we were supposed to be talking about on that
UFO, Enemy Unknown.
I may have mentioned there's an online Spectrum emulator called Torinak, Torinak. Nomad is on that.
Okay.
So you can go and have a play of Nomad.
Well, they have actually released all Amstrad CPC games as like freeware.
Oh, that's cool.
So they're out there. You can literally download them.
Amazing.
For nothing. Getting the fuckers to run is sometimes fun.
Well, that Torinak, go on there and you press the button and you're away. So you can see, get the gist at least.
Yeah. But yeah, I had so many games that I absolutely cherish on my Amstrad. Like Ghostbusters. The Amstrad version of Ghostbusters was brilliant. I loved that. But yeah, I had The Bard's Tale, which is still one of my favourite games of all time.
Perhaps the last current sort of, as I say, Gemma got me the Jaguar. My brother got me a Vectrex. God love him.
Oh, yes.
Which is just incredible. One of those things you just like, as an adult, not believing what you're seeing when you're unwrapping a present. It's like, it was only a few years ago, but which is incredible and fantastic and all that. But my brother also got me back in the year 2000 my Dreamcast.
Oh yes, no, you told him to buy you a Dreamcast.
It doesn't matter. He still bought it for me. Didn't have to, did he?
I'll never forget it because he's a big Arsenal fan, isn't he?
Yeah.
And you said, what's it you said to him? Something along the lines of, that thing that's on Arsenal's home kit this year? That's what I want.
Yeah.
Was your way of saying what you wanted for Christmas.
Well, I mean,
it worked.
Yeah. I was weirdly enough living with my brother at the time, and then he had quite decent internet by comparison, because all internet in the UK in the year 2000 was shit. That he had some of the least shit internet. So I actually got to go. I never played anything online, but they had like the chat room things, didn't they?
Yeah, loved all that.
And unlike you, I didn't have a keyboard, so I had to converse by dialing in with my controller.
It's the first fucking thing I bought.
Like, they was fucking rare as hen's teeth forever, weren't they?
I went into, I'm pretty sure it was still Electronics Boutique. I don't think it was Game at that point. Bought my Dreamcast, bought Aero Wings with it, which is I'm probably the only person in the fucking world who thought, I'll buy Aero Wings as my first Dreamcast game. Love it though, it's a great game.
Great game, yeah, nothing wrong with Aero Wings.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure I bought the keyboard there and then, because I knew the internet hadn't launched. It wasn't officially there yet, but I knew it was coming, and I thought, I'm going to need a keyboard.
Well, I think that was the thing, particularly, I don't know what it was like in the rest of the world, but in the UK, there was a lot of people who a Dreamcast was their first way onto the internet, or the idea of it. But and so keyboards, you literally couldn't buy them for months and months and months. They were out of stock as soon as they were in stock everywhere. So yeah, that was a thing. So yeah, I used to talk about games on my Dreamcast, little chat rooms, by pressing numbers onto a controller. Fucking painful. And that D-pad was shit as well.
The Dreamcast, I don't know if it was the keyboard itself or the software. It must have been the software, but it had a thing where you could map things to the F keys.
Okay.
So you got 12 F keys along the top of your keyboard, yeah? That do fucking nothing. I mean, they do things on a PC, but they do nothing on the Dreamcast. Yeah. So there was the ability to basically type in macros. You could type in a string of text. So first one, F1, my email address. Yeah. I never typed my email address on a Dreamcast ever after figuring that out. And there were loads of little tricks you could do and loads of little things. And those message boards really started to build up like a knowledge base of what you can do with your Dreamcast, what you can do online.
Yeah.
Do you remember the secondary email address that you had?
No.
You had like your main email address, your main Sony one, Sega one that you logged in with.
Yeah.
But there was a secondary one, which was like almost an in-game ID email address.
All right.
But when you access that, you didn't go through the standard online portal, which was like just like any email account web page is now. It was very stripped down, no graphics, not very flashy at all, but very, very useful for like sending attachments.
Right.
And things like that. It was almost like a separate system to the front end.
Ah.
I had a thread on the message board. It was like something like what you can do with your Gmail. I'm sure it was called Gmail. It was something like that. It was like a different email system almost. It's like a game email system.
Yeah.
And that had hundreds and hundreds of people commenting on it, like not daily, obviously, but over time, it really built up as like a repository of what you can do outside of, the apparent front end of the Dreamcast online experience. And I fucking loved that.
Yeah, that is
cool. I really did. I thought no one else has put anything online on here about this. I'm going to put it up there. And then you become sort of the curator of this conversation that runs for however long it runs for.
I think that's the last current console I got for Christmas. But, it's the Dreamcast. It's the greatest thing that's ever been created by a man.
Okay. I won't argue. I mean, you're wrong, but yeah.
Right, you have done apparently a chronological list of all of your Christmas game-related presents ever.
So, 1984 for Scramble. 1987 was my Amstrad. The next one is the big one. So, Christmas 1991, after presumably some bothering of the parent, or parent at that time, I think it might have been, I got Mega Drive with Sonic the Hedgehog, and I played nothing else.
Yeah.
For like 4 days. And I finished it. Not an experience that you had very often in the 80s with your Amstrad and Spectrum games. You didn't expect to get to the end of most games ever. So, I finished it. At which point my dad said, well, you may as well have this then. Because bearing in mind it was like a day to my birthday. He'd bought me my second Mega Drive game, which was a game called Mercs, which I'd never heard of at all, and absolutely loved it. It's like a vertical scrolling, it's vertical and somewhat horizontal scrolling, commando style game.
Yeah.
Like really big, bombastic kind of thing. Excellent. Loved it. Played that for years. Never would have bought it. Ever. I've more fond memories of Mercs than I think I do of Sonic, to be honest. Because Sonic was stressful as fuck. As a 13-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Playing Sonic for the first time. Oh yeah, it's brilliant. He's the fastest thing on the earth and blah blah. Yeah, but you can't run. Because if you run through this bit, you'll die.
Yeah.
You have to really slowly make your way through this bit, this series of jumps that you have to get exactly right, or you will die. Oh, okay. Like, it's a game that wants to be really, really fast and amazing.
Yeah.
But stops you doing it time after time after time. All the way through the game. It's like, nope, you can't run through this bit. You have to go slowly.
In my head, sort of you and sort of gaming, and that is synonymous with the Mega Drive. I think you were perhaps the first person I knew who had one.
Christmas 92, I had Sonic 2, because that came out on November the 24th, 92.
I was about to say, and Knuckles, but there wasn't. Was it called Sonic?
No, that's the third one.
Okay.
Sonic and Knuckles was the third. No, actually, I think it's Sonic 3, and then Sonic and Knuckles. Basically, 2 is the last one I bought, and I've never bought another one since. But it came out, very specifically, came out on a Tuesday, because it was marketed as Sonic Tuesday. I'm glad you were taking a drink as I said that.
Wow.
I'll always remember that. I had to look the date up to sort of jog the memory of when it came out, but I knew it came out on a Tuesday.
That's cool.
But yes, it was late November, so that definitely would have been a Christmas present for the next year. And then after that, there's nothing for like 4 years. And then, as we covered in the Tomb Raider episode, traded everything in, bought my PlayStation with Tomb Raider about a week before Christmas, I think. Yeah, and that was it. But again, because of the birthday being so close, on about the 27th, I think, of December, as I finished Tomb Raider, Dad was like, "Oh, you may as well have this then." It's like, hey! And that was Command and Conquer.
Oh, wow, that kept you busy for
which
a bit.
You couldn't get two more different games
No.
Tomb Raider and Command and Conquer. And I fucking loved that game. I really did. I'd already played Dune 2 on the Amiga, which was the first of the real RTS games. And I think I'd played Command and Conquer on somebody's PC that I can't remember who. But having that, I was just, you couldn't have picked a better game. Really couldn't. That was absolutely perfect. And I think that's the last computer game my dad ever bought me.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's not dead or anything. That was just the last game he bought me. That's going to sound horrible. It was the last game he ever bought me.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. But after that, because that is literally that moment in time, 1996 is when I'd been in my first job for 6 months at that point. So I had my own money. I could just go and buy my own console. From that second on, no one ever buys me another game or console ever again because I don't need them to. From that second on, it's like, right, okay, yeah. If I want a game, I'll go and buy it. I mean, you've got to remember as well, at that point, I'm like 18. So it's like, yeah. Starting to get to Christmas every year. What do you want for Christmas?
Money.
Yeah, just give me money so I can go out and get drunk.
Yeah. I think it helped with the PlayStation as well. That I think, relatively speaking, the games were pretty cheap, weren't they? I think the top price of a PlayStation game was 40 quid.
50.
Was it?
Yeah, there were specifically games worth 50 quid.
See, I seem to remember them being 40 and then sort of towards the end.
40 was more common, but 50 was the top end.
And you think SNES games were 60, so.
Well, there was a very definite shift in, I want to say 97, where there started to become a thing where games were pitched at about 30 quid. So I can remember buying Driver for 30 quid.
Yeah.
I can remember buying Cool Borders for 30 quid. It became a thing that the price of games came down.
I specifically remember, say, 40 quid being top end for a PlayStation. Like you, there was a point where 30, 35 became sort of the common price to get a PlayStation 1 game, and that seemed to roll over into the PlayStation 2 as well, PlayStation 2 games.
Well, you got to remember as well, the Platinum range came out, which was games that have been out for a couple of years. I think there may have been actual criteria behind it, but it's basically something that's been out for a couple of years. Let's chuck it out in 20 and see what we can get.
Yeah, it sounds like counterintuitive because it was always the most popular games. And to me, it's like, well, if everyone's already got it, who's going to buy it even if it's 20 quid? But it turns out everybody.
Yes.
Generally speaking, Christmas-themed games or level packs or things are shit.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want to just do that. So I put out a shout out on this Discord I'm on, which is a bunch of refugees from a bigger Discord. There was a few ideas, but yeah, a chap called Pie the Gamer just suggested, stories about games as Christmas presents and that sort of thing. And so it's such a simple concept and such a good idea. So just wanted to give him a bit of a shout out. And then I also asked just the other day if anyone had any good stories they wanted to share. A chap going by the name of Charlie. I want to share his story because it's fucking traumatic.
As all good Christmas stories are.
Yes. the story in its entirety. Charlie writes, the year the PS2 came out, I was 13. I opened up a present and the box was a PS2 box. I opened the box and in it was a block of wood. No PS2. Gutted. I mean, fuck.
That's fucking evil. But hilarious.
The follow-up is he got a used one the next year because his dad felt so bad.
I had a similar thing one year. So the year after I got my Mega Drive, I opened up a box and it was... Took the wrapping off and it was a plastic box about sort of the footprint of your mobile phone.
Right.
But then they're like sort of a couple of inches high dimensions. And it had a 1980s TV remote control in it. I got it out. I sort of just looked at my dad and was like, a remote? I said, yeah, I bought you a TV. Because basically I'd had my Mega Drive, which was plugged into the TV when I was using it.
Yeah.
And then unplug it and get the fuck out of the room. I want to watch Match of the Day kind of thing every time for a year. And it was a TV from no word of a lie. Bearing in mind, this is 1992. The TV was from like 1982. Had like a wood surround to it. And it was awful, but I loved it. It was great. So I was brilliant. I could do with like an Atari 2600, which would match the wood of this TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd look perfect.
Beautifully, yeah.
If you were to look up like retro, what TV best goes with a retro console, that TV would have perfectly suited a 2600. But yeah, that was a very confusing Christmas present. Loved it though.
Did you put any thought into what we could talk about in regards to drinks?
Yes.
And that was?
It wasn't much thought, but I did put thought in. I have picked my Christmas cocktail.
Have you?
Yes.
Is this an actual Christmas cocktail that you drink or one that you want to drink?
No, this is one that I drink.
Okay.
Every Christmas.
Yeah.
And quite often throughout the year.
Is it Advocaat and lemonade?
No. I think you know what it is if you really think about it.
I think I do know what it is, but I'm going to let you say the word.
I kind of specifically have avoided ever using this for any of the games.
Yeah.
Because other than that Call of Duty game where they specifically say no Russian, whichever one that was, it's never really going to fit. And I thought, if I don't use it for Tetris, then I'm never going to use it for anything. So I thought Christmas party, yep. I remember once a works Christmas party that I went to when I worked at Microtronica, when you were still at Fuji. Remember we worked on the same industrial estate? Yeah. That was, I don't think it was the year that I started drinking this drink, but it was certainly the year when I drank the most, because we had our Christmas do and boss said, free bar. So, sweet. Wait, up to 500 quid. So once 500 quid behind the bar is gone, that's it. So, right. Okay. Thanks, Phil. Really appreciate that. I'll have a White Russian, please. And then 5 minutes later, I'll have a White Russian, please. 5 minutes after that, I'll have a White Russian, please, mate. 5 minutes after that, White Russian. Another 5 minutes. White Russian. Another 5 minutes. Yeah, you get the gist.
Uh-huh.
I drank a lot of White Russians in very quick succession and was very, very drunk. My cocktail for Christmas in general is the White Russian. It's my favourite drink outside of Skol drunk out of a can on a cotton end curb.
Is to that.
Yeah. No, it is my favourite cocktail because it basically is my favourite drink. The first time I ever had one was in a bar next to the cinema in Milton Keynes. I went to go and see a film. I think it might have been Spider-Man. and I'd seen the Big Lebowski, and I thought, I'm going to have a White Russian. Fuck it, why not? Very confidently walked to the bar, White Russian place, and he didn't bat an eyelid. Just went off, Kahlua, got the milk, got the vodka, and poured, to this day, one of the best White Russians I've ever had. That first one was perfect. As much as you could make a perfect White Russian, that was it. And I remember at the time thinking, oh, fucking hell, that's really nice. I'll probably, in the rest of my life, have 2 or 3 more of them. Yeah. Long story short, I've had lots.
You said that was possibly the best you've had. What competes in terms of White Russians?
The first time I ever went to Glasgow, when I was looking at where I was staying and that, I thought, oh, well, I'm going to need to eat somewhere. I don't particularly want to eat in a hotel. So I just zoomed out from the hotel, like one step. And I just saw in the corner of the screen, Lebowski's. I thought, what the fuck? I've got to click on that. Mm-hmm. So I clicked on Lebowski's. White Russian bar themed around the film The Big Lebowski. And I thought, is this a joke? Has somebody read my mind and invented the thing I want in the place I'm going to already? It was just absolute, like, kismet. Yeah. It was just perfect. It was like, that is exactly what I want where I'm going. Right, off I go to Lebowski's. Walked in, and it was just perfect. Everything. You just look around, there's 10-pin bowling stuff all over the place. They've got, like, just stuff up on the wall, loads of posters, like neon signs, all sorts of shit. And I just thought, why? Why does this exist if not to please me? Obviously, there are other people in the world that will love this, but yes. I genuinely feel like this is the place that has been made for me, and I should be here. So it's like the most sort of destiny thing I've ever felt in my life. Got chatting to the barman really early, like, oh, you know, what would you recommend? Because there's obviously it's a few here. I drink the standard White Russian, but obviously you've got all these other ones. He's like, start with the nihilist. Like, okay, what's that? Absinthe. Sweet. Yes, do it. I'll have that. Fucking delicious. Loved it. There's a couple of others. Sort of basically through a couple of hours of being there on my own, which was a little bit weird. But had something to eat, had a few White Russians, really, really enjoyed it. Left, went back to my hotel, got up in the morning, got on a train, back to Leicester. Next thing I know, we're looking for somebody to do a week's worth of work in Glasgow. Guess who's got the hand up? Just straight away. Oh yeah, you've been up there before, Dave. You know where you're going. You know where to stay. All that sort of shit. Like, yeah, I definitely do. So it was me and one other guy, and he was an older guy, sort of in his 60s. Probably a bit of a health consideration about what he was going to drink. Yeah. So I thought, well, let's just go to this place, and you don't have to have White Russians. They do beers and standard stuff, whatever. Just literally just walked in like I fucking owned the place. It was great. I was like, oh yes, I know exactly where I am. This is my place to be. So I knew we were there for a week, and I thought, well, I may as well do the menu over the week. We're going to be coming in there every night. Yeah, over the course of the week, we went in there. He fucking loved it. He thought it was the best thing he'd ever seen in his life. About a year or two later, he was still telling a story of me in a bar in Glasgow ordering a pink drink topped with whipped cream. It's like, 20 years ago, you ordered that in Glasgow, you'd get stabbed. Well, yeah. Yeah, but you go there now, post-gentrification, it's actually nice.
It really is, yeah.
Because I'd never been to Glasgow. I had no idea of what Glasgow was like. I'd been to Edinburgh once when my sister used to live there. But Glasgow was basically train spotting as far as I was concerned. There would be a short person stabbing you in every pub.
I went to Glasgow a couple of times, possibly 20 years ago, maybe 15. And it really was that horrible. the girl I was with, we went to a nightclub and they started playing Irish music at the end of the night, and when the barman heard me speaking with an English accent, he advised me to very quietly get out.
Jesus.
So yes, that was my Glasgow experience pre, as you say, gentrification. Now it's much nicer. It's a lovely place to go.
Yeah.
Still fecking cold though. I did a similar thing to you. I thought about what I drink at Christmas. The answer's beer.
I didn't tell you what I drunk the last 2 Christmases. Do you know the flavoured vodka that comes in a gold bottle?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but the last couple of years I've been bought a bottle of that's melon flavoured.
Oh, Christ.
So it's kind of like, Midori flavoured, because I fucking love Midori. It's basically melon flavoured vodka. Yeah, I drink it on the day. The bottle goes. It's become a tradition that Dave goes to bed early on Christmas Day.
The other thing I drink, so obviously I can't have beer as a cocktail. I did that for Tony Hawk, I think. So
that was fucking Jaeger bomb.
No, it was. I said it's either a Jaeger bomb or it's a can of Skull shotgun and a Curbing Cotton End.
Yeah, a can of Skull would have been better than a fucking Jaeger bomb.
But yes, the other thing that I do drink at Christmas, there's 2 things. I drink a lot of Bucks Fizz, or a mimosa, if you want to call it its proper name, because you can. It's like Christmas is the only time of year that it's okay to drink at breakfast.
I mean, you're an adult; no one's going to stop you.
Excuse me, I have a wife. She's going to stop me.
Get up early.
When you get up early so you can drink unhindered, I think that's when you know you've got a problem. Oh, you didn't give us a recipe for a White Russian.
The White Russian. So ingredients: vodka, Kahlua, and half and half, or 50-50 milk and cream. That's it. I disagree for a change with the Difford's version, which has a 2-to-1 ratio of vodka to Kahlua. And also, they have it down as Galliano Espresso Coffee Liqueur.
Oh, that's just who they're sponsored by.
Anyone who knows the White Russians, it has to be Kahlua. Interesting side note to this. No one knows when or where or by who it was invented.
That's pretty... Yeah, that is, yeah.
The Black Russian is quite well documented, but the White Russian, there's no definitive source for it.
Huh.
As far as I know, in what I've read, obviously somebody somewhere might know more, but Difford's I take as a fairly good source of this kind of information.
Yeah, I tend to know what he's on about, don't they?
It basically says no one knows where it came from. I love to think that within the end of my life, someone gives me the opportunity to travel in time. And it's me. I go back and invent the White Russian.
I like a Black Russian. For some reason, there became a thing where some people thought a Black Russian was like another name for a vodka and coke, or some shit happened with the whole name Black Russian. But a Black Russian is just Kahlua and vodka.
Yeah.
In the right proportions, obviously. But I can't think if that existed first. Who went, do you know what would be nice in this? Cream.
What
the fuck?
The thing is, I mean, I've drunk fucking loads of them in all kinds of different places. And the faces that grown adults make, when a kid, when you try to put medicine in front of a kid and say, drink this, they make that face like they're offended and they want to hurt you, but they don't know how to articulate it. Adults make that face when you say what it's got in it. So it's a coffee liqueur and it's vodka and it's cream or milk, and they just go, oh, fucking grow up, just fucking try it.
Yeah, right.
Yes, it's got milk in it, but try it, fucking child.
As you've talked about with Lebowski's as well as other places, there are a million variants of the White Russian.
Yes, and I've only found out today in looking at it on Difford's that for the last couple of years, because I only drink skimmed milk. I've been drinking the Anna Kournikova.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that. I didn't even know about it. I thought that was hilarious.
I've tried before out of, well, basically necessity, and I'm sure quite often drinks are made out of necessity.
Oh, God, yeah.
Gemma drinks a lot of Baileys, so I use Baileys in place of cream in a White Russian. I was drinking either, depending on your preference, a blind or a blonde Russian.
Yeah.
And as far as I was concerned, I made that up because it was quite nice. But,
yeah. I've been in bars before where I've asked for White Russian. I've had fucking Tia Maria instead of Kahlua, which is fucking horrible. But no, I invented my own variant, which I think I've told you before about.
The Dave?
Which was the Dave, yeah. Which was milk, Midori, and tequila, which is glorious. It's fucking lovely. Once you get past the idea that it's got milk in it, most people just go, oh, this is fucking delicious.
Prior to sort of, learning about how drinks work, the only other time I had milk and alcoholic drink was one of those times where you're pissed up at a house party and make a bottle of some random shit out of everything that's left, and some genius goes, I'm going to put milk in it. Yeah. And then it just curdles and turns to instant vomit twice.
Once going in, once coming out.
Yeah. Nice. I've only had a couple. I quite like them. I didn't, I don't love them, but I quite like them. They're okay.
Well, you're a coffee drinker anyway, aren't you? So.
Yes. But I drink my coffee black and strong. So
I fucking hate coffee.
Oh.
So for me to start drinking White Russians was quite a trip.
Yeah.
There is a Lebowski's version called the Jeffrey.
Right.
Which is vodka, Kahlua, half and half, and a shot of espresso.
Oh,
which
nice.
you probably love.
Yeah, that sounds good. Guess how many White Russians the dude drinks during the course of the Big Lebowski?
Oh, fucking hell, I don't know. 12?
So apparently it's only 7.
Huh.
Which I suppose it's a 2-hour film. That's still quite a lot of White Russians. But I'm with you. I would have gone for a fair few more.
To be fair, there's a few where he makes one and doesn't get to drink it.
So I was saying about Bucks Fizz.
Yeah.
So Bucks Fizz, which is known as the mimosa, is exactly the same drink. 50 ml of orange juice topped up with champagne, or more often a sparkling wine of some sort. And I say, because Gemma, who doesn't drink very much, likes to have one on Christmas morning. Well, normally, because I live in Sussex, and Sussex sparkling is now a protected type of, basically what people call a champagne. It's Sussex sparkling. And it's because the bit of geology for you, the same seam of chalk that the champagne grapes are grown on runs under the channel and comes up in the Sussex Downs. And thanks to global warming, our climate is now exactly the same as it was in France 50 years ago. So our sparkling wine is every bit as good as champagne, actual champagne.
Awesome.
So, and it's, it's got protected status because of that, and some of them are very, very expensive, like champagne, and some of them aren't, but they're all very, very nice. So we quite often get that and have it with some orange juice on Christmas Day, and then I've got a bottle of champagne. I like a mimosa, or a Bucks Fizz, as we call it, because, I don't know where the two came from, but it's always been a Bucks Fizz to me. But I prefer a French 75, and so whenever I've got champagne in the house, which is Christmas, tend to make a French 75.
What's a French 75?
Is exactly the right question, Dave. If you go on our friend Difford's website, you get a very convoluted recipe for a French 75, which includes lemon juice, powdered sugar, gin, Calvados, cognac, grenadine, absinthe, and sparkling wine. It's been around since early 20th century. I think the first example was 1912. The one I know, which is much simpler, was in the 20s. Can't remember exactly where. It's in my mate Harry Craddock's The Savoy Cocktail Book. And he does the much, much simpler 2/3 of a glass of gin, 1/3 of a glass of lemon juice, and a spoonful of powdered sugar, topped up with champagne.
I'm just reading the Bucks Fizz Wikipedia page. It's as early as 1921. Named after a club called Bucks Club in London in the 20s.
Wow.
That's where Bucks Fizz comes from.
The French 75 is named after a gun that was popular in the First World War.
Oh, nice. When you say gun, are you talking artillery piece or like, handheld? As soon as you said it, I thought, I bet that's a cannon. Yeah, 75mm field gun.
Wow. That's a big one.
Quick firing field artillery.
So yeah, the French 75 as I know it, which is, as I just said, the simplified version. There's lots of very cool versions and it's been around a long time. And the first versions are quite odd. But on Difford, you'll see there's a few different versions, variants that go back a long way. The first one, the 1915 Washington Herald recipe, which is called the 75. Dry gin, applejack, bonded grenadine, and lemon juice. And then it keeps on with this whole gin grenadine thing.
The grenadine for colour, usually, isn't it?
And interestingly, no champagne. And then there's this 1927 recipe. Is the first one where it's lemon juice, powdered sugar, dry gin, and champagne, which is the way I have it. It's the Hammy Craddock version. And it's lovely. It's a really nice drink, and it will get you hammered because it's really nice to drink, and it's really tasty, and it's got quite a lot of alcohol in it, and it fizzes as well, which always gets you hammered a bit quicker.
Yes,
but yeah. So for me, Christmas, I make myself quite a few French 75s, and that's become what I drink at Christmas. Other than beer, of course. And somebody always buys me a bottle of Jack Daniels at Christmas for some reason, so I'll probably have a Jack Daniels and Coke.
You've mentioned that before, like it's a bad thing.
It's never a bad thing, but
it is if you don't drink it.
Well,
and they keep buying it for you.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, it's a bourbon. There are cocktails with bourbon, and it's just not a particularly good one, unfortunately. But you're
too polite to say no.
I am, yeah. Well, someone buys you booze. It's a bit rude to say no. Take it away and buy me something nicer.
I do draw the line at Stella.
Oh God, I would drink Stella if someone brought me a case of Carlsberg. I would be giving it to charity.
What charity accepts shit lager?
That's a great question.
Shelter. It's got to be Shelter.
I doubt they would, but I'm sure if you took a case of Carlsberg down to your nearest tramp, they would be delighted with it. Merry Christmas.
I love the idea that they look at it and go, oh, fuck off.
Anything else Christmas, mate?
There was one. I'm not sure if it was when I first came to Leicester. No, I'd been here a few years. There's the arty cinema that you came to me with for the retro games thing a few years ago.
Yeah.
That whole area has always got something going on. And they did a thing I think it was November. I don't think it's specifically Christmas, but it's definitely winter because it was like specifically a dark thing. They did a thing called Light the Night. So they had like loads of sort of interactive light shows and things where you'd like touch a string of beads and it would like react and things like that. Fucking brilliant. And there was somebody made a life-size Pong projected onto a building with a 6 foot tall Atari 2600 joystick that you had to stand on and like properly move it. It was fucking brilliant. I loved that.
I was trying to think of that sort of general Christmas stories, and I've got basically I give up because I love Christmas, and I've always loved Christmas. And there was a time in my life when we had fuck all and still made the best of Christmas. There was a time in my life when doing a lot better and still made the best out of Christmas. And no matter how it comes about, Gemma is part fucking elf. She's
is she pouring at the loft ladder waiting for you to get the decorations out?
Basically, we got married near Christmas, so we had a honeymoon near Christmas. I've just got it's
like early December, wasn't it?
Nearly all of my memories of Christmas are good. I can't think of many bad ones. So yeah, I love it, and I think it's a great time of year. And I think regardless of the religious connotations that I don't particularly believe in, that's the time of year just to be nice to other people and have a really good time. And I know there is a big problem with people not being very happy at Christmas, and if that's you, I hope you're okay. But generally speaking, people are in a good mood at Christmas, and I kind of love it. If you're struggling, talk to someone, please.
Yeah. Talk to us.
Yeah, fuck it. Give us a shout.
Especially if you don't know us, especially if we're complete fucking strangers.
If you're struggling, talk to someone. Simple as that. Anyone. Just talk to someone. I guess we're doing Gran Turismo next time, right?
No. I basically substituted out Gran Turismo for this.
Yes, but I thought Gran Turismo was next, so surely...
Right, so in that case, Season 2, Episode 1 will be Gran Turismo. Do you know what's really good about Gran Turismo as well?
What's that?
It's only on the PlayStation. There's no other version. There's no Game Boy version you can talk about.
Okay. Challenge accepted.
But no, that's it. There's no other version to look for. That's it.
That's fair.
PlayStation. Gran Turismo, PlayStation. Done.
Yes. That very, very true. And only 2 of them fit into our retro as well, didn't they? So
yeah, luckily, the good one and 2.
So, yeah, next time out we'll be doing the PS1 Car PG Gran Turismo. Something to say, Dave?
No.
Okay. That will be episode 1 of season 2 of Cocktail Mode. So have a great Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, have a great time doing whatever you're doing. And we'll see you next year on Cocktail Mode, the podcast where gaming, like alcohol, is in our blood.
Happy Christmas and Merry New Year, I think you'll find.
Feliz Navidad.
Exactly.
Who's the slickest mover on the Hong Kong scene? That smooth talking, high kicking hustler supreme. Kick-ass Casanova with a kung fu grip. Takes a ninja empire on a suicide trip. There's no one meaner. Marco Cortina. You're his winner. Kung Fu Junkie. Kick-ass funky. Don't spank his monkey.
Jaguar Wong is afraid of nothing.
Black belt killer with a Bruce Lee style.
Jaguar Wong, king of Hong Kong.
Fonzarelli haircut and a Coben smile.
Jaguar Wong, king of Hong Kong.
Street fighting player with a special move.
Jaguar Wong, king of Hong Kong.
5 deadly venoms in the Jaguar groove.
Jaguar Wong, king of Hong Kong. Undercover daddy in a polo neck. Superfly grandmaster, any king's in check. Rocks the streets to his beat. With the beat, prayer never takes his Jaguar technique. Suckers get hits with a fish. Resisting is useless, you're toothless. The dude is ruthless. Golden head nemesis, Tiger 10. If anyone can do it, Jaguar can.
Jaguar Wong.
There's no one meaner.
Jaguar Wong.
Marco Cortina.
Jaguar Wong.
You're his winner.
Jaguar Wong.
Kung Fu Junkie.
Jaguar Wong.
Kick-ass funky.
Jaguar Wong.
Don't spank his monkey.
Jaguar Wong is afraid of nothing. Hey, you Jaguar Wong? You're acting pretty cool, man. But guys like you need to be shown a good lesson. Oh. And you think you're the one who's gonna shoot? That's right. Let's see those famous Jaguar skills. Now you've had a taste of my Jaguar technique.
Massive color mother with an Elvis flair. He wants satisfaction just like any day.
There's no one meaner. Marco Cortina. You're his winner. Kung Fu Junkie. Kick-ass funky. Don't spank his monkey.
Jaguar Wong is afraid of nothing.